Alright, guys, we are going to be keeping it real with some grade 10 functions, Grade 10 functions, grade 10 functions. So, yeah, I guess this is a live lesson that will be beneficial to grade 10s that are here primarily with the objective of just pushing the passion with the functions grade 10. Okay. So guys, as we head into looking at these functions, hopefully our knowledge of functions is there, so that we can be able to be competent enough in being able to answer questions related to functions. All right. So let us get this show on the road. The first question that we have before us here at the top says, the graphs of f of x is equal to x squared minus 4. Okay, so guys, please, f of x is equal to x squared minus 4. That is one of our functions. Do we know what we call this function, guys? F of x is equal to x squared minus 4. Do we know what the name of that function is? What do we refer to a function that has the form f of x is equal to x squared minus 4? What do we refer to this function as? That's my first question that I'd like to direct to everyone, because for the statement to say the graphs of f of x is equal to x squared minus 4, and for us to not know what that is, that's where the trouble begins. So do you know when we say f of x is equal to x squared minus 4, what the name of that particular function is? And if we were to come here to this picture or this diagram, do we know who f of x is? Which function we are referring to? Okay, so the graphs of f of x is equal to x squared minus 4. Okay, yes, flavorful sense. This here is a parabola. Okay, or in other words, they refer to it as a quadratic function. So very good. We refer to this function f of x is equal to x squared minus 4 as the parabola. Okay. Yeah. Then they say g of x is equal to negative x plus 2. Do we know what that is? G of x is equal to negative x plus 2. Do you know what type of function that is? Negative x plus 2. Negative x plus 2. G of x is equal to negative x plus 2. Yes, flavorful scent. We refer to that as a linear function, or better yet, we call it a straight line. Okay. So hopefully we know the properties that relate to these functions, because obviously knowing what type of function this is the first step, but then knowing the properties and knowing what are the different characteristics of each property is very important. So that's what we have here in the diagram. The graphs of f of x is equal to x squared minus 4 and g of x is equal to negative x plus 2 relate to these functions that we have here before us. Okay. Well, we are told that these functions, what is happening? They are sketched below. All right. We have these functions sketched below. Then we are told a and b are the x-intercepts of f. So a and b, we are told, are the x-intercepts of who? Of f, meaning f of x. In other words, meaning the what? The parabola. Okay. Very important to note. The graphs of f of x. Okay, yeah, don't know what's happening with the view. The view is bad. I don't know what's happening here. Right. Is the picture off, guys? Like, yeah. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know what's happening here, but it's getting really crazy. Sorry about that. Okay. So now we are told A and B, meaning A, there it is, B, there it is. We are told those are x-intercepts of who? Of the function f. So the function f has x-intercepts. That x-intercept and that x-intercept. Do you know what x-intercepts are, guys? X-intercepts are where, okay, basically, your x-intercept is the place where your function, this is where the function cuts, crosses, or overlaps the x-axis. Cuts, crosses, or overlaps the x-axis. Now the x-axis, guys, on your Cartesian plane, this is what we call, this is called the x-axis. It's a number line of real numbers. This is your y-axis. It's a number line of real numbers. So our x-intercept is simply where the function cuts, crosses, or overlaps the x-axis. Okay, that's what the x-intercept is. The equation of that particular line is y is equal to 0. So everywhere on that horizontal line, our value of y is 0. So that's very important to note, that the x-axis has an equation of y is equal to 0. Okay. Then, what else are we told? C and D. Where's C? There is C. Where's D? There is D. We're told that C and D are the what? The y-intercepts. What are they? The y-intercepts. So what is y-intercept? A y-intercept is basically where the function crosses, cuts, or overlaps the what? The y-axis. Okay, that's the y-intercept. That's where the function crosses, cuts, overlaps the y-axis. There, we always let our x be equal to 0, because everywhere on that vertical line, the y-axis, the value of x everywhere here is 0. Like x is 0 everywhere on this vertical y-axis. Whereas here on the x-axis, y is equal to 0 everywhere on this horizontal line. Okay, those are important things that we need to note, guys. Very important to note. Furthermore, what are we told? K, that K there, is a point on G. Indeed, this particular straight line has the K point there. All right. Such that we are told that BK is parallel to the y-axis. So BK is a vertical line. It's parallel to the y-axis. And then we are told F, meaning the parabola, and G, meaning the straight line, intersect at A and E. Now, with that said, the very first question that is asked here is, write down the coordinates of C. Okay. So for us to answer this question, guys, the first thing we need to find out is where is C? Okay, where is C? So we go to our function, we try and locate where C is. C is on the y-axis, but the function f of x also passes through C. Remember, at C, we were told that C and D are the what? They are the y-intercepts of f and g. So where is C? There is C. Okay, it's located on the y-axis. So there, we let our x value be equal to 0. Okay, so what other function passes through C? Well, our parabola passes through C. So therefore, because C is found on the y-axis, which means x is equal to 0, and the function of f of x passes through C, then what we are going to do is we are going to let x be equal to 0, and we are going to substitute the x is equal to 0 in f of x, which is the parabola. Now the function f of x, which is the parabola, is given by the expression x squared minus 4. So where 0 is for x, where x is, we are going to substitute 0 in the place of x. Okay, Dr. Motsamai, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. You are so loyal. You are so loyal. Owed me from yesterday. You are too kind, sir. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your kindness there with that donut. It's funny that you would actually come back. You are a man of integrity, that's for sure. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your kindness there. So where C is, as I was saying to you, grade 10s, we are going to substitute the value of x, which is 0. Oh my goodness, Dr. Motsamai, the man has come out guns blazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Motsamai, for the much appreciated there, that paper crane. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Motsamai. Guys, hopefully you guys can follow through, follow Dr. Motsamai there. Live contributor. We can officially say he is my provider for today. So thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate. May God's grace find you. And may his love and blessing flow all around you. May he bless you according to your need, whatever it is, according to the righteous heart's desires that you have. If it be peace that you need in your heart, may the Lord just grant it to you. Thank you so much. So substitute x is equal to 0. We're going to substitute x is equal to 0, guys, in the function of f of x. Why are we substituting x is equal to 0 in the function of f of x? It's because, remember, we said that C, where is C? C lies on the y-axis. What do we know about the y-axis, which is the y-intercept? For our y-intercept, the equation of that line is x is equal to 0. So we ought to then let x be equal to 0 because the y-intercept, or the y-axis, the function itself, crosses, cuts, and overlaps the y-axis. So we are going to let x be equal to 0. Furthermore, we are going to substitute x is equal to 0 where? Thank you, Nombali, as well for the rose. I really appreciate it. Dr. Motsamai, thank you for the follow-up gifts. I really appreciate them too. So you let that x be equal to 0, guys, here. All right? And the function itself, f of x, is crossing or passing through the value of c. So here is the function. F of x is equal to x squared minus 4. Now we are going to substitute the x is equal to 0 into the function. So we say f of 0 is equal to, in the place of x, we substitute 0 in brackets, 0 squared, that is 0 minus 4. And then, of course, 0 minus 4 gives us a negative 4. So when we let x be equal to 0 in the function, we get a corresponding y value, which is negative 4. This is the input x value, which is 0. We get a corresponding output y value, which is negative 4. So that means the coordinates of C are 0, which stands for the x coordinate, and negative 4, which stands for the y coordinate. So here, guys, we have written down the what? The coordinates of C, which are what, guys? Remember, they said we need to write down the coordinates of C. And so this is how we get the coordinates of C, all right, by letting x be equal to 0. Why? Because C lies on the y-axis, and we know that on the y-axis, the value of x everywhere on the y-axis is x is equal to 0. And the C is a y-intercept, so that's why we let x be equal to 0. Then we substitute x is equal to 0 where? Into the function f of x. Why are we substituting into the function f of x? It's because f of x, the function of the parabola, passes through C. That's why we substitute x is equal to 0 in the function of f of x. When we do so, we substitute in the place of x 0. That's substituting 0 into the actual expression of the function, which is 0 squared minus 4. 0 minus 4, f of 0 is equal to negative 4. Therefore, the y value is negative 4. So when x is equal to 0, y is equal to negative 4. Therefore, our coordinates, okay, for C are denoted by 0 and negative 4. And that's basically the answer. Let's move on to the next question. 5.2 is asking us to do what? Write down the what, guys? The coordinates. The coordinates of who? The coordinates of D. Okay. So anyone who would like to attempt to help us establish how we are going to write down the coordinates of D. Because remember, how did we write down the coordinates of C? We first asked, where is C? And we found out that C lies on the y-axis. Because C lies on the y-axis, we know that along the y-axis, the value of x everywhere on the y-axis is equal to what? 0. So then we took x is equal to 0. We found that C further is passed by the parabola function, which is f of x is equal to x squared minus 4. So we let x be equal to 0 for the function as well, because the function passes through this point. And then when we substituted, guys, that 0 in the place of x, we got a corresponding y value, which is negative 4. Therefore, our coordinates of C were 0 and negative 4. Now, how do we find the coordinates of D? Okay. How do we find the coordinates of D? How do we do it, guys? Okay, we are going to ask, where is D? Okay, where is D? Yes, Flavorful sent. Y-intercept of g of x, the linear function, we let x be equal to 0 and solve for the y-intercept. Very good, Flavorful sent. Thank you so much. That was beautifully said in the comment section. Okay, so Flavorful sent, definitely. Normally, 100%, we are going to use the straight line function. All right, we have the straight line function. Okay, so guys, just going back to what Flavorful sent said, D, where is D? D is lying on the y-axis again. Where is D? On our y-axis. What is D? Okay, what is D? D is the y-intercept. So what do we know? there about the y-intercept. We let x be equal to 0 because, guys, on the y-axis, x is equal to 0 everywhere. But at D, who else is having a field time with that particular function passing through D? Well, we have the straight line, guys. We have the straight line function that is passing through D. D lies on the straight line. So since D lies on the straight line, it means that the x value at D is 0, which is why we're going to let x be equal to 0 for which function? Well, which function lies on? Does D lie on? It lies on G. Okay, it lies on G. So what is G, guys? What is the function of g of x? There we have it. G of x is equal to negative x plus 2, our linear function, the straight line function. So what we are going to say, we are going to say g of 0. Let x be equal to 0 for g of x. So g of 0 is equal to, what is the function? Negative into brackets, we substitute in the place of x 0 plus 2. Remember, this was the function, negative x plus 2. So in the place of x, we substitute 0 in brackets, plus 2. Negative times 0, that's 0. Plus what? Plus 2. What is 0 plus 2, guys? 0 plus 2 is equal to 2. Okay? That's g of 0. Remember, this is basically saying when we substitute x, which is 0, we get a corresponding y value that is 2. So when we conclude, we can say D. What are the coordinates of D? Okay. Remember, x was 0. So we write 0 in the place of the x coordinate. What is the corresponding y value? It is 2. So therefore, these are the coordinates of D. They are 0 and 2. And that's it, guys. That way we get the coordinates of D. Okay. All right. I hope you guys are following my logical thinking as I, go through finding coordinates lying in a specific place. You first ask yourself, where is this thing? Just like we said here, where is D? Okay. Then we ask, what is D? Okay, D here is the y-intercept. Okay, and then of course, knowing that it is the y-intercept, we know that for our y-intercept, the y-axis, we know we let x be equal to 0 because x is 0 everywhere. For what? Who is passing? What function is passing through D? It is the straight line. So therefore, we let x equal to 0 for g of x. We substitute x is equal to 0 in the place of g of x. Then we get the output value, the y value, which is 2. So when x is 0, y is equal to 2. Therefore, the coordinates of D. Remember, guys, whenever we write coordinates, we write our x coordinate first, followed by our y coordinate. It's always in that order. And we read this as 0 and 2. Okay? Yeah, I hope it makes sense. So I think so far we have full marks. Okay, we can move on to the next question. And what you do, guys, is with your pencil on your sketch, whenever you get something, you go ahead and you write down what you got. This was 0 and negative 4. That was 0 and 2. So you update your diagram. You update your diagram. Have a nice pencil there so that you can update your diagram and update the information that you get. We move on to the next question. Determine the length of CD. Okay. Determine the length of CD. Okay. Determine the length of who? Of CD. Okay. CD. Now, CD is a vertical length. Okay. This is a vertical length from top to bottom. We are trying to get the length of CD. That's what they want. They want us to find the length of CD. So what you should notice about CD is that the x coordinates are the same. And because, guys, it's a vertical length, we can then say y at the top minus y at the bottom. Why do we do this? To calculate the length of CD. It's because, all right, okay, we do this because we have the same x coordinates for both C and D. So all we do is we calculate the difference between the y coordinates. You can see the x coordinates, 0 and 0. When you have such, it means that your line that you have before you is a vertical line. If your x coordinates for given points are the same, then you know you are calculating the length of a vertical line. That's how you know that this is a vertical length, because you have the same x coordinates, C and D. Okay, so you take y at the top, which in this case is the y coordinate of D, minus y at the bottom, which is the y coordinate of C. What is the y coordinate of D? It's 2. It already in the formula I have a minus sign. Minus y coordinate of C, minus minus 4. So we have 2 negative times the negatives are positive. 2 plus 4, which is 6. 6 what? 6 units. Okay. Now, since this is functions, guys, and our x coordinates are the same as I said, that is why we say y at the top minus y at the bottom. Okay. Blessing Khalema says, or you can use the distance formula, and indeed you can. You guys have also finished and done analytical geometry, so indeed you can use the distance formula. All right, that would also still give you the same answer. And I think you guys know how to use the distance formula if you are given 2 points. Okay, you have the points, you have the x and the y coordinate of each point. You should be able to use the distance formula. But appropriately, for a vertical length in functions, this is a simplistic formula. Just take y at the top minus y at the bottom, but you only do it for a vertical line. And I said, what characteristics do vertical lines possess? They have the same x coordinate, all right, whilst the y coordinates are different. Okay, so vertical length, we take care of it in that way. If it was a horizontal length, remember, for a horizontal length, your y values are the same, whilst your x values are different. So with a horizontal length, it would be x on the right minus x on the left. That's how you would calculate the distance for a horizontal line. It would be x on the right minus x on the left. Okay, so you must be noticing something, that we're always taking the big number, subtracting the small number, because that's how we are going to appropriately calculate the distance. And distance can never be negative. Distance will always be a positive. Okay. Yeah, hope that's clear for all of us. Right, let's move on to the next question then. 5.4. Calculate the coordinates of B for 3 marks. Okay. Once again, whenever we are answering questions like this, we are going to ask the famous question, and that is, we want the coordinates of B. So what's the first question we ask? Where is B, and what is B? So from the statement, there were things that were said about B, and that is A and B are the x-intercepts of F. So that it can also help you out very quickly. Where is B? On the x-axis. Okay, that's where B is. It's on the x-axis, and the parabola touches B as well. Okay, yeah, parabola touches B. Okay, or let me say F touches. Then what is B? Your x-intercept, as Nombali our amazing teacher says in the comment section. Okay. So then what are we going to do this time round? If we know that B is on the x-axis, the parabola touches B, and the B is the x-intercept. What are we going to do, guys, with an x-intercept? Remember what we say about x-intercept? X-intercept, let's just remind ourselves, x-intercept is where the function cuts, crosses, or overlaps the x-axis. That's where we let what? We let y be equal to 0. Make sense? Hopefully we understand grade 10s. We let y be equal to 0. We let y be equal to 0. And since we understand that the parabola is the one that touches B, we let y be equal to 0 for what? For f of x. Right? And remember, this notation of f of x means y. So it is in the place of f of x that you will substitute y is equal to 0. So let's write the function of f of x. It's f of x is equal to x squared minus 4. So we let what? We let the y be equal to 0. Meaning in the place of f of x, grade 10s, we are going to substitute what? 0. Okay. Yeah, remember this is more appropriate for grade 10s, though grade 11s and 12s may benefit, but it's more custom designed for grade 10 because these are parabolas where the axis of symmetry is the y-axis and always is. Okay, meaning the function is always symmetrical along the y-axis. Okay, so we let what? We let y be equal to 0. And then what do you see? An equation. What type of equation? Quadratic equation. With what type of factorization here? X squared minus 4. We know the expression on the right gives us what type of what type of expression for factorization. Okay, this here is what we call a, yes, very good, very good, very good, baby cat. Difference of two squares. Yes, flavorful scent. So what we are going to do is we are going to open them two brackets. Okay, so that's why as grade 8 and 9, grade 9 learners, you should come into grade 10 knowing your factorization well. So we have plus minus. The square root of x squared gives us x and x. The square root of 4, 2 and 2. Then we know we get x is equal to negative 2, or x is equal to 2. But on that side of B, where B is, you can see, yes, it's the x-intercept. Okay, we can see that B is the x-intercept, but it's on the negative side of the what? Of the x-axis. So between these two answers that we have here, after factorizing, okay, and solving, getting the solution, x is equal to negative 2 is the most appropriate. Okay, so our coordinates of B are going to be negative 2 and then y. Obviously, that's when we let y be equal to 0. So that is our coordinates. We accept only the negative 2 for x values. So our coordinates are negative 2 and 0. X cannot be this one. Okay, x cannot be this one for B. Though, of course, we are going to leave that one as well. In our answer, we're going to say x is equal to negative 2 or x is equal to 2. That's the possibilities. Because, of course, yeah, that's how we go about it. Okay. Le tukutu la kuzwayo. Remember, as I said, these are your grade 10 parabola. Okay, grade 10 parabola. So our our vertical y-axis, okay, is the axis of symmetry. Our vertical y-axis is the axis of symmetry, but it is consistently the equation x is equal to 0 for grade 10. for their parabolas, which is what we're busy with now, grade 10. Okay, let's continue, guys. B, we got the coordinates of B. That's -2 and 0. Okay, moving right along. Determine the coordinates of E, a point of intersection of F. Determine the coordinates of E. You're welcome, Letukutula Kuzwai. Determine the coordinates of E, a point of intersection of F and G. I think someone asked about the grade 8 live that I did yesterday. I couldn't complete that, all right, but we're just gonna do it at another time, just not today, because I don't even have that in front of me right now. We'll do it another time. Okay, I don't know when, unfortunately, because right now that's not what I was thinking of doing this live. Yeah, but yeah, we'll do it another time. Determine the coordinates of E. All right, let's bank on tomorrow. I think I'll spend like 20 minutes tomorrow and just do that, finish off what we started yesterday with that grade 8 paper. Determine the update. Thank you so much. Sorry, I forgot about. Hey, good job there, Sis Mbali. Nobody, just an update. So the coordinates of B, let's update those. Thank you. We get something, we update it. So B is -2 and 0. Now, the reason why I don't say X cannot be 2, it's because, remember, what we've just calculated is the X-intercepts, all right? So the -2 is here. The 2 would belong to the A, because as I said, guys, the Y-axis in grade 10 is where our parabola is always symmetrical. Okay, so I write these two answers, but I just go ahead and conclude about the coordinate of B as it relates to what? To the coordinates I was wanting to find. But remember, this X is equal to -2 is the X is equal to -2 that is appropriate for B. This X, which is equal to +2, is appropriate for the coordinates of A, which they did not ask for. So I'm not going to say X cannot be 2. Okay, yes, X cannot be 2 for the coordinate of B, but remember, X can be 2 and it is 2 for the coordinate of A. All right, so it's enough for me to just calculate and get the X-intercepts, but then to conclude about B. That's all I'm interested in. But I leave that X is equal to -2 or X is equal to 2 as is, because it's really relevant even for this point. Okay, remember, that's very important. Let's move on. Determine the coordinates of E, a point of intersection of F and G. Now, guys, what is a point of intersection? This is very important. What is a point of intersection? Okay, because now this question is talking about the coordinates of E, is talking about a point of intersection. So there is E. What's happening here? Why do we call it a point of intersection? What is actually happening here? F, the function of F, and G, the function of G, they are actually equal at that point. Not only here, but also there as well, at A. All right, so nobody has told us very well what it is that we need to be writing down algebraically to support point of intersection. So guys, whenever they ask questions on point of intersection and they want coordinates for the point of intersection, your responsibility, as dear Nombali has done in the comment section, and I want to thank her for that, is you say whatever the functions be, you equate the two functions. We appropriately equate the two functions because we acknowledge the point of intersectionness of the two functions. This is where this is where you start. You don't start anywhere else, but you say f of x is equal to g of x. Now f of x, remember, is x squared minus 4. G of x, on the other hand, is negative x plus 2. So what are we doing here? We are taking the bodies of the subject. F of x is the subject. This is the body. G of x is the subject. This is the body. G of x, touch his body. F of x, touch his body. Equate the two functions. So x squared minus 4 is equal to negative x plus 2. Are your algebraic skills for solving equations still on point? Well, this is the time where you apply your equation skills. You apply your equation skills. Now, of course, this equation is quadratic in nature. Why do I know that this equation is quadratic in nature? Remember, when we say quadratic, that means the highest exponent in the equation is the exponent 2. This speaks of quadratic, right? So our goal is to get the equation into standard form. Then 2, we factorize. Then 3, we apply the zero factor law. Then 4, we get the roots. All right? That's the objective. First, get the equation in standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. 2, we factorize, meaning open 2 brackets, equated to 0 by factoring. Apply the zero factor law. Each bracket, because there's a 0 on the other side, each bracket you equate to 0. Then you get the roots, which are basically your 2 at most solutions. All right, so let's go apply this step by step. Standard form, factors, zero factor law, answer. Standard form, let's go. X squared minus x, we transpose, we get plus x. Minus 4, we take the 2 over, minus 2 is equal to 0. So far, so good. Yebo. Then we get x squared plus x minus 4 minus 2 is equal to what, guys? What's negative 4 minus 2? Grade 10s. It's negative 6. Then, what do we do from this stage? We play Mr. Factorize, because we are now at standard form mode. Standard form mode, okay? Now we are going to factorize. We open them 2 brackets, like we are pros. And then after opening 2 brackets, like we are pros, we just go ahead and we find the factors of 6, which when we add, give us 1. When we multiply, give us negative 6. This negative sign means that the signs are going to be different. This negative sign means the signs are going to be different. Positive and negative. That's what the negative sign means. Different signs. But then this positive says the highest factor out of the factors of 6 will be positive, according to the sign of the middle term. So factors, you guys are saying 3 and 2. Thank you so much. So the biggest number is going to be positive, then the other is going to be negative. We put x and x, and then we apply the zero factor law. Take each bracket, equate to 0, then we solve each individual linear equation, thus getting what we call our roots. Take the 3 over negative 3. Take the negative 2 over positive 2. That is our x values. These x values represent where the 2 functions intersect. So that means one of the x values is a representation of E. Okay, let me just, this is very important. On the same vertical line, okay, this x coordinate of E is definitely going to be a negative number. This x coordinate of A, which is also another point of intersection, is going to be positive. So if you look at your 2 answers, which one represents E? Very good. Nombali or Nombali so fast in the comment section. Which one represents E? Which x coordinate represents E? Okay. We can see, guys, which x coordinate represents E, right? Yeah. So we utilize that x coordinate, but then remember, we want the entire point. So what we are going to do, we are going to substitute the x coordinate that we know we ought to use, which is negative 3. Where are we going to substitute it? It can be in any of the 2 functions. Remember, x is equal to negative 3 lies on both functions, either the straight line or the parabola. So let's just use g of x, okay, and say g of negative 3, okay, is equal to negative into negative 3 plus 2. That means 3 plus 2, which is 5. Remember, a negative times a negative is a positive, so 3 plus 2 gives you 5. So that means when x is negative 3, y gives us 5. So our coordinates of E are simply this, negative 3 and 5. And that's it. What more can we ask for, guys? What more can we ask for? Okay, please, guys. People are going to ask, why did we choose x is equal to negative 3 and why did we leave x is equal to 2? It's because of where we are, all right? It's because of where we are. Make sense? I hope we understand. It's because of where we are. All right? All right? All right? Okay, I hope we understand that one, because once we understand that one, it makes beautiful sense. Beautiful sense. Okay? Beautiful sense. All right? I don't know if there's any questions that are pressing. I think maybe Noreen has a question. Noreen. Hello, Noreen.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. Are you watching? Are you here, or did you just request and leave, and then you saw the request and you were like, oh, this person is finally accepting my request. Let me just come back.
No,
No?
I was here.
Oh, you were here. Okay. Are you in grade 10 perchance?
No,
Grade 11?
I'm a grade 8.
Grade 8. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, this live is not for grade. This live is dedicated purely to the grade 10. So, were you here yesterday when we were doing a live with grade 8?
No,
Oh, okay. Have you written maths already at school?
no,
When are you writing maths?
on Monday.
Really?
Yes.
Are you ready?
No,
Why not? You should be ready by now.
struggling.
You're struggling. Tell me, if I go live tomorrow, what time would you like me to go live for the grade 8s so that I can figure out a time, and then you must make sure that you make it to the live so that when I do the live for the grade 8s, you are here.
I think on 5 o'clock
5 o'clock.
in
Okay.
the afternoon.
Let 5 o'clock afternoon. Okay, so let's make it 5 then. Okay, are you gonna join?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll see you tomorrow at 5. Okay, then you must make sure that you join.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay then. Bye Nombula.
Bye.
So you must set a reminder so that you don't forget.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye Nombula. Bye. All right. Awesome. So Nombula has officially officialized. So tomorrow. Oh my soul! What's happening to this pen? Tomorrow at 5 p.m. we have an appointment with the grade 8s. All right. Yeah. So we'll revise one last time with the grade 8s. Tomorrow 5 p.m. grade 8s. Don't forget, guys, be there or be squared, and also let your beloved brothers and sisters know so that they are there. We are busy at the moment with functions grade 10, so yeah, we are answering this question. Okay, we've answered 5.1, writing down the coordinates of C. We've answered 5.2, write down the coordinates of D. We've answered 5.3, determine the length of CD. 5.4, calculate the coordinates of B. We've done. We have just now completed 5.5, determine the coordinates of E, a point of intersection of F and G. And this was basically how we answered that question. We know that where two functions actually intersect, that's where the two functions are equal. So we took f of x, equated it with g of x. Then obviously f of x, the body of f of x is x squared minus 4. That it is given by that expression. G of x is given by the expression negative x plus 2. This is a parabola. This is a straight line. Then we solved the equation as we normally would if given an equation of this nature. We get to standard form of the quadratic equation, factorize, apply the zero factor law, get our roots. And as we saw, we got x is equal to negative 3 and x is equal to 2. Then, with our understanding of where E is located, because E is located here on this part of the quadrant, we know that the x value here is negative. Okay, all right. The other point of intersection is at A, and that is the x value that is positive. We are interested where the x value is on this side, which means x is negative. So we then chose that x is equal to negative 3. Then we substituted x is equal to negative 3 where the what? Where the function took x equal to negative 3, substituted it either, we could substitute either in the straight line function, we got 5. But even if we had substituted it here, all right, it would still give us 5. Because negative 3 squared will give us positive 9. 9 minus 5, 9 minus 4 will also give us 5. So that's why we got the coordinates of E as negative 3 and 5. All right. We're done with that question. We move on to the next question. And it is this one. Okay. These questions, very beautiful, very nice, guys. These are nice questions. Okay. Look at 5.6.1. It says, for which values of x will f of x be less than g of x? For which values of x will f of x be less than g of x? Now, I want us to understand what this question is looking for. Okay, so this here, we need to first understand what it means. When they say f of x, they are obviously talking about what? They are talking about the function f of x, which is x squared minus 4, which is the parabola. Mr. Smile here, okay? That is what they are talking about when they're talking about f of x. G of x, they are obviously talking about the straight line function. G of x is equal to negative x plus 2, and it is the straight line that is there. So what do they want now as they are comparing the two functions? They are saying they want the values of x for which f of x is less than g of x. What does this mean? Okay. They want us to find out where is f, meaning the parabola. Where is the parabola below the straight line? Where do we find the parabola below the straight line? Less than g of x means where is f below g? Where is f below g? Where is f below g? Okay, that's what they are asking basically. In layman's terms, where is f below g? That's what they're asking for. That's all they're asking. Okay, maybe someone else is asking, so what if they had said f of x greater than g of x, right? Then that would have been like them asking, where is f of x above g of x? Okay, so hopefully when we were in earlier grades, we did propositions. Okay, proposition, on top, on top, inside, outside, inside, next to. Okay, so when I say where is f below, hopefully the English clicks, right? Okay, yeah. So for instance, if I have a table and a ball underneath the table, then the ball is below the table. The table is above the ball. Okay, I hope that makes sense, guys. If I have a table here, right, and there's a ball below the table. Remember, the ball is below the table. The table is above the ball. Okay, so here we are checking, we're wanting to know where is f below g. That's what this first question is asking. All right, so it's like saying from left to right, where is f below g? Okay, so from left to right, guys, you read from left to right. All right, and as you read from left to right, what are you reading? You are reading your x values from left to right. So they want an interval. They want an interval from left to right that shows f being below g. Okay, so you should then be able to look at your two functions. First, you need to know who f is. F is the parabola. G is the straight line. So where do you guys see the two functions being evidently where f is below g? Okay, now let me just talk about a few things first. To answer these questions, there are a few things that need to be in place to answer, guys. To answer, before we jump into that, we go into the notes, I need to explain something. To answer, you need to understand the question, right? Which I think I've explained. The question is wanting for you to identify where is f below g. But in order, so that's the first thing. To answer, you need to understand the question. Okay. Then 2, all x values have to be known. All x values have to be known. And I mean which x values? You want all the x values of 1, the x-intercept, all the x values of the x-intercept. 2, the y-intercept. You need to know the x value of the y-intercept. Obviously, the x value of the y-intercept is x is equal to 0. That's always true. 3, the x values of the points of intersection. POI, point of intersection. Okay, and then lastly, we need to know, what also do we need to know? If we were dealing with your exponential and your hyperbola function, you would also need to know the x values that relate to the asymptotes. And obviously, this would only apply to the vertical asymptote, which is specifically the vertical asymptote of your hyperbola, which is always x is equal to 0, for our grade 10 graphs with variations and changes when you go to other grades. So guys, you need to have all of these. You need to check out, before you can't answer the question that I've just asked you, where is F below G, until you have resolved and you have in your diagram the x-intercept, the x values of the x-intercept, all x values of the what? The x-intercept, all the x values of the what? The y-intercept, all the x values of the what? The point of intersection, all the x values of the what? The asymptote. Now, as I said, it's only going to be your vertical asymptote for your grade 10 hyperbola, all right, that you are going to have to know, and that is always x is equal to 0 in grade 10. Okay, if you guys haven't done hyperbola functions, then talking about what an asymptote is now won't be helpful. Okay, all you need to know is that an asymptote is an untouchable line that we find in your hyperbola functions. When I start doing hyperbola functions, I'll explain further, but for now I am busy with just straight line and parabola for your exam type questions. Okay, that time will come, but it's just not now. Okay, so you don't have to worry or stress yourself if you haven't yet done hyperbola and if it's not going to be tested. Okay, but I guess if it is, then another time, guys, we'll explain these things further to you so that you have clarity and understanding. So for the parabola and straight line, it's only these that we need. Only these three. Because a parabola and a straight line don't have asymptotes anyways. So it's only these three. So if we go to our sketch, let's do this. What is this? E. E is a point of intersection. What was the x value there at E? Do we still remember, guys, what the x value at E was? Do I need to remind you? The x value at E, okay, was the -3, okay? So what I do is I come here. Remember, all along this, from here, all along this vertical line, x will be -3 on this vertical line everywhere, okay? But here, that -3 is a representation of the x coordinate of what? Of E, okay? Let's continue. Then here, this is the x-intercept. We need the x value. So here we know it's -2. Obviously, the y-axis, we already have the x value is 0. At A, see now, this brings me back where, guys? At A, this brings me back to what we did when we were finding, what were we finding? Where we got two answers. When we were finding the point of intersection, all right, we got the second x value, all right, and that second x value is a representation of the x value, which is basically the other point of intersection, whose x value here should definitely be what? Be 2, all right, okay, A is 2, the x value is 2. Obviously, the y coordinate is 0, but we are interested in just the what? The x value. Do we have all the required values of x so that we can answer the questions that I had mentioned? X-intercept, the x value of the x-intercept, check. The x value of the y-intercept, check. The point of intersection, the x values there, check. So I have all my required x values, guys. Now, all that is left now is for me to read my answer for the given condition. All right, that's all. All right, and I can see big G is already big there. All right, Brayton. Mr. Major sniping. Brayton. 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 Hello, Brayton. Hello, Brayton. Earth to Brayton. Okay, maybe Brayton, Mr. Sniping, you can support me in my live goal there. I have a live goal there, my guy. Hand heart with the paper crane. As I said, guys, I know very well that you guys are not moneyed to help with my live goal, but I would really encourage you to send the live, share the live with your aunties, uncles, your mommies, daddies, your papas, your mama bears, and all of those amazing people that are in your life that spoil you rotten sometimes. They can come through and see what's happening here and hopefully contribute to the live goal. That would be epic. Anything as small as a rose, to an ice cream, to a GG, to a you awesome, to anything big, I accept. Anything small or big, whatever it is, it's welcome. YDKM3UN, what's up, buddy?
Hello, sir.
Street, thank you so much for the you awesome. Nobody.
So does the asymptote only apply to hyperbola function?
Hyperbola and exponential, my guy. But for this particular wanting of x values, remember I said in order to answer the questions that are related to interpretation, f of x greater than g of x or f of x less than g of x. You are you with me so far with what I was saying?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we need all the x values. We have to have all the x values that relate to 1, the x-intercept, 2, the y-intercept, 3, the point of intersection, and then 4, I specifically mentioned the x value, the vertical asymptote of the hyperbola, because the hyperbola is the only one that has a vertical asymptote, and so the x value would apply to that one because it's always in grade 10 x is equal to 0, the vertical asymptote in grade 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in grade 10 the vertical asymptote is x is equal to 0. The change in asymptote for the vertical one changes in grade 11 and 12, but in grade 10 there's consistency because our graphs are not yet flourishing in moving left and right. They are just moving up and down. That's all that's happening to the graphs in grade 10. Okay. We have limitations.
Okay, thank you.
Are we YDKM? Yeah, are you in grade 10, my guy? You are in grade 10?
Yes, sir, I'm in grade 10.
And have you written paper 1 and paper 2 for maths?
I've written paper 1. I wrote it on Friday, and I'm writing paper 2 on Monday.
Oh snap, man! So I'm too late for you, hey?
No. Paper 2 is about our functions and trig.
Functions and trig. So what did you do in paper 1 then?
Paper 1 was algebraic whatever. And then it was equations, also number patterns, just simple stuff.
Oh, is it? Okay, interesting. That's a very interesting distribution of papers. Can I just ask one more question, man? What province are you blessed to be residing in?
Gauteng.
Gauteng. Oh, okay. So Gauteng, they're doing things with a little bit of spice, eh? And the flair.
Yeah, it's too much.
You said too much. Man, that's fun. No, that's fun. I'm happy, my guy. I'm happy. So that means you are writing on functions. When did you say?
On Monday, functions and trig.
Functions and trig. Man, that's crazy because I was going to finish this one and then venture into some trig. Thank you so much, King. Really appreciate the gifts there at the bottom. I can see some. Man, King Gaba. Oh, thank you, King Gaba. Ah, the great King. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You ready?
I really need help on hyperbolic functions and exponential functions.
Exponential. So that means I need to finish this question and move to exponential and hyperbolic.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll be done. I'll be finishing this question. This question, I just felt like I needed to do parabola and straight line. So I'll be coming through now after this one, exponential. and then I'll grab one on hyperbola as well, and then I'll explain some things on those two functions.
Thank you, sir.
Sure thing. Let me continue and finish off this one. Okay, thank you so much, guys. You guys have been gifting away there in the comment section. It's almost as if you guys are like, yeah, okay, we'll get you whilst you're still talking. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the love. It means so much. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, guys, I think now we can answer this question, right? We have all of our x values, all right? The point of intersection x value, the x-intercept x value, the y-axis x value, and then we also have the what? The other point of intersection x value. Now it's time to answer. Thank you so much, Flavor Sand, for 13 beautiful, amazing, sweet, cool down ice creams. Really appreciate it, buddy. Really appreciate it so much. So that's for all of you guys who've been gifting so tenaciously. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much to all of you. Flavorful Sand, thank you so much. King Gaba, doing the most there. King Gaba, like just covering it up. My goodness, nobody. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Street, thank you so much for the you awesome. Really appreciate you too much. Tada. Dark-skinned Han. That sounds familiar. Oh, dark-skinned Han with the grade 11. Oh my, amazing. Thank you so much, Flavorful Sand, for the 15 roses as well. I remember you grade 11. Yeah, I'm busy with grade, busy with grade 10. Let me see you guys later on. Maybe dark skin Han, you can just let me know in the comment section, when are you guys writing the other paper 2 for grade 11? Just let me know there in the comment section. I actually did a live this morning, grade 11, in my other platform. We did it for grade 11, the paper what? Paper 2. Did trig though, it was just trigonometry. So if you go to my YouTube channel, I have the trig that I did this morning. What are you guys writing on? Is it just trigonometry? Is it just trig? Yeah, guys, unfortunately, grade 12 paper 2, you guys, you're gonna be missing me this weekend, okay? Because it's just this focus on grade 10. Just that grade 10 and 11. So unfortunately, you're just gonna have to use other platforms. But grade 11 and grade 10, I just need to Okay, so let's check now. F of x. Where is f? Where is this function below this one? Okay, because that's what this thing is asking. Where is f? Meaning, where's the parabola found below g? So let's look at these two functions. As we move, let's check from here to there, what's happening? From here, from negative infinity to negative 3. Let's check in this interval. Who is above who? All right. That's why, you remember, guys, that song that said, "Oh munye pesgo munye, oh munye pesgo munye, oh munye pesgo munye, pesgo munye, pesgo munye, pesgo munye." Yeah, guys, this below and above, that's like oh munye pesgo munye. So if you look between negative infinity to negative 3, what's happening? Who is above? G. F is above. G is below. You see, G is below, whilst F is having his time in the sun, being above. G is the one below. But do we want that? No. We want where F is below. So far, from here to there, we have nothing, no answer. Are we together, guys? Can all of us raise our hands in the comment section and just indicate that we understand? We want where F, you see this thing is saying F less than G of x. In other words, we want to know where is F below G. All right? We want to see where is F below. At this moment, G is the one that's below, F is above. No answer between negative infinity and negative 3. That's why I was saying when you check your answer, you're checking from left to right. So in this interval, there's nothing. Now let's move on. What about from negative 3 to negative 2? What's happening there? G is above, whilst F is below. From negative 3 to negative 2, we have an answer. But let's just check one more time. If it continues, what about from negative 2 to 0? Yay! Still, G is above, F is below. Let's continue from negative 2 to what? To 0. Then what about from 0 to 2? Yo, look at this, guys. G is still above, F is still below. Then they catch up. They catch up to each other. So from where to where did we observe F being what? Being below G. All the way from negative 3 to what? To 2. We observed who? We observed F being below. You see, look at this. So if I was to actually have a nice highlighter, you would see me highlighting from here to there. That's where F is below. Okay, and we check which X values from negative 3 to 2. So how do you write that answer? Guys, I'm just going to write there on this page. You can either write this answer and say X is an element, open brackets, negative 3 to 2, open brackets. That's one way of writing the answer. If you don't want to write it that way, you can say X is greater than negative 3 but less than 2. This is another way to write the answer. Guys, you must decide which appropriate way to write the answer. You can write the answer in interval notation, or you can write the answer in inequality form. These ways are both acceptable. Can I get an amen in the comment section, guys? If you feel you understand what is happening here, can I get an amen in the comment section? Good people. All right. So X is an element, negative 3 to 2. All right. Yeah. So please, guys, this one. Oh, munye, pes go munye. Oh, munye, pes go munye. 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 You know what I mean? We are playing Omunye Pes go munye here, guys. Below, above. Remember, had the question been f of x greater than g of x, then what would we have said? We are going to look for where f is above. You see, where is f above? F greater than g of x means where is f above g of x? All right. Now remember, sometimes they say f of x less than or equal to g of x. No, guys, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. This means below. All right. And then this means the equal means on. You see here, we are looking for below and on each other. Okay? Below and on. Now, Malibongo Maponya, the brackets must be square. I don't understand. What are you talking about, Malibong? Malibongwe. 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 What square are you talking about, Malibong? You must come and explain yourself. What are you talking about, my guy? Malibongwe.
Yes, sir.
I hear you are talking about square. Which square, my guy?
Oh,
Are you
no,
talking about this square?
yeah, ngisho the bigger anithi ufaka ama round bracket bengisho ukuthi ama bracket mele abe ma square bracket, the bigger bracket, because we can see the graph exactly from -3 up to +2. So we put the square bracket, but if besingeke siyibone I don't know ukuthi ngayenza kanjani, but what I can say, the square bracket, yeah.
So here, Malibongwe, for this particular one, you are saying I should put square brackets instead of open.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm
Malibongwe.
wrong. I don't know if
No,
I'm wrong.
Malibongwe, it's
sir.
fine. I appreciate that comment, Malibongwe. I just want us to observe one thing. Ne? Let us observe this together. This one is saying, where is f below g? Just where is f below, right?
Yeah.
So exactly at -3, the two functions
Okay.
are intersecting.
Yes.
Ne? They are on each other. That's what we mean. They are on each other. Omunye phezu komunye, baba.
Yes.
Yeah, they are touching. It's like hozo tattoo kiss. Mwah. You see, here they are tattering kiss, my guy. But according to this thing, we are saying we don't want to observe them tattering kiss. We just want to see where F is below G.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You see, so
Danko,
therefore,
yeah,
if
I
that is
see.
the case, Malibongwe, we cannot include -3. That's 1. And we cannot
Yes.
include 2. So we can't have square brackets. But you know
Yes.
what? I appreciate the fact that you said put square brackets, because that is something that we just needed to clarify, not just for you, but for everyone else in the live that might have thought the same way. So I appreciate you actually saying that in the comment section. Thank you, my guy.
Thank you, sir.
I really appreciate. Like too much.
Anginotisanga lokuthi ithi less than. Ayimpakanga ukwadi.
No, it's fine.
Anginotisanga. Sharp.
It's fine. It's fine. So when we have less than, then it means asimthathu kiss baba. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that I hope we understand. So we have open brackets because we do not include -3. Because if we include -3, that's where the two functions are equal. But if Malibongwe, the question had said f of x less than or equal, then we are saying we are looking for where they are below, where f is below g, and we are looking for where it is on each other. Okay, wozo tata here, yeah, here we are tattering baba. Therefore, if we were writing the answer for this one, we would say x is an element. We would squareize the brackets from -3 to 2, and we would squareize the brackets because we want to also see where the two functions are. Mwah. We want to see where the two brackets are what? Yeah, we want to see that too. Okay, very important. So if you write it in inequality form, you would actually say x is greater than or equal to -3, but less than or equal to 2. You would include, you would put the equal sign. I hope it's clear, guys. Ne? Yeah. Thank you, Malibongwe. I that's why I summoned you. I just summoned you for that because I wanted for us to have the clarity for that. Okay. All right. So let's always observe, guys, what is the actual inequality? Are we saying just less than alone, or are we saying less than or equal to side? So this here was just me saying to answer the questions that I have just answered, we need first, okay, what do we need to do first? Me and you need to first understand. We need to first understand the question that is being asked. So for instance, you see, when we say f of x less than, we need to understand, okay, less than, g of x means below. Equal means on. So that when we write our answer, we know what kind of brackets to write. That's the first thing. We need to first interpret this thing correctly. What does f of x less than g of x mean? It means where f is below g. What does f of x greater than g of x mean? It means where f is above g. Okay, what does f of x less than or equal to g of x mean? It means where f is below or on g. You know, these are important things. Then let's come this side. So I was saying you need to first understand the question, then 2. Please, guys, make sure you cannot answer the question fully until you have what? The x values for what? For your x-intercept, your x value for your y-intercept, which is obvious, your x values for your point of intersection, all right? And then if you have a hyperbola function, you need your x value for your vertical asymptote. All of these are of critical importance for you to be able to then confidently come to your graph, 2 graphs, and then answer and write the question. Do you see how I was able to move from left to right and consult what's happening in this interval? Why could I do that? Because there's the x value of the point of intersection. Then I'm observing what's happening in this interval. What's happening in this interval? What's happening in this interval? What's happening in this interval? Then I can be able to write my answer. What's happening in this interval? You see, to infinity. You see? So then my answers can be written. Okay? Okay. I hope it makes sense, guys. I hope it makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Right. Now, we need to move on to the next question, guys, because there's other function questions that the kids are crying about. Okay. 5.6.2. Hey, you see this one? Yo, this one is very nice and beautiful. Thank you, Flavorful Saint. Flavorful Saint, you are very generous. You are very generous. You are a very generous person. You are a very generous person. Thank you so much. Flavorful Saint, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I thank you from the depths of my heart, Flavorful Saint. Thank you for the gifts. I recognize the gifts, my guy, that you are pushing through here. You know, yeah, whatever gender you are, I'll just call you my guy. That does not mean, it's just a nice way. Mets gamer, you are truly a Mets gamer in the truest sense. I'll give you MG. Thank you so much. Appreciate. All right, let's go. 5.6.2. First, I said we need to understand the question. For which value of x will f of x times g of x? Let's spend some time, guys, and interpret. We need to understand the question. What do they mean when they say f of x times g of x is what? Greater than or equal to 0. Guys, first, I just want to take some time with you and just unpack this thing. F of x, we all know, is the parabola. But we have a specific focus on the y value. Y value, okay, of f. And also times the y values of bani of g. We are somewhat focusing on the y value of f, and we are focusing on the y value of g. The product of these two, meaning when we multiply the y values of each, the outcome should be 1 greater than 0. What does that mean? It means greater than 0 means positive. Greater than 0 means positive. Okay? The product of two things that give you a what? A positive. Let's first analyze what possibilities are there. If the y value of f is positive, multiplied by the y value of g, which is positive, the outcome for positive times positive gives us a what? A positive. So this, if I am to see a y value of f which is positive and a y value of g which is positive, it means that the result will be positive, which is what I want. Because greater than 0 is to apply that exactly. Right? So guys, which in essence is saying, had the question said less than 0 instead of greater than 0, then it would mean not positive, the outcome, but negative. But what are the two signs that give me a negative? It would either be positive, negative, or negative, positive. The multiplication of different signs gives me what is negative. But here, we are focusing on greater than 0, which means positive. The multiplication of the y values of f that give me an outcome that is positive. That means we are looking for where both functions are above the x-axis. Because where do you get positive y for f and positive y for g. You get it where both your functions are above the x-axis. You should know that. That is the direct meaning of the positive of the y values of f and the positive of the y values of g, where both your functions are above the x-axis. That will lead me to the positive result, the outcome that I desire. Hey, I hope you are feeling it, guys. I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it. Booyah. Okay. So that's 1. 2. It's not only a positive and a positive that gives me a positive. What else gives me a positive? It's a negative y value times another negative y value. That's what gives me a positive. Okay? A negative y value and another negative y value for g. A negative y value of f and a negative y value of g give me an outcome that is positive. This is my other one. That means I'm looking for where both my functions are what? Are below the x-axis. The interval where I see my functions being both below the x-axis, this is the place that I am looking for. That all speaks, both these options, the first and the second, speak to greater than 0 alone. But guys, remember, we are not looking at just greater than 0. We are also looking at what? Equal to 0. The equal to 0. How does that come? Well, we look at f of x, we look at g of x, their y values. Equal to 0 will come if, let's say, f of x, the y value is 0 and I'm multiplying it with a positive y for g of x. Or if it is 0 multiplied by a negative y for g of x. Or if it is 0 and I multiply it with a 0 as well for g of x. Or if it is positive times 0, negative times 0. These are all the available options that will give me equal to 0. I have unpacked for you guys what we mean by f of x times g of x greater than or equal to 0. I don't know if you guys are feeling me there.
I'm feeling you.
You feeling
Niggas
me?
in my boat. Oh, niggas in my boat. Oh, niggas in my boat. Oh, niggas in my boat. Oh,
Cake.
Yeah.
Cake.
Oh my goodness, what's happening, guys? Stop the music, why?
Was a ba.
I see some people are really feeling all sorts of things. Okay, you're feeling it. I could see even that guy just came through there, requested, just wanted to play some music. I love that. That's awesome, guys. That kind of randomness is very much welcome in this world. Otherwise, I hope we are all good. I hope we are all good, guys. I hope we are all good. Okay, it's happening. We're feeling it. We're good. It's happening. All right. So let's go, guys, and let me whilst I'm still here. Remember now, if there was no equal to 0, let's say there was no equal to 0, and it was just greater than 0, then I would only be looking at these two options and nothing else. Okay, just these two options. Look where both functions are above the x-axis, check the interval that supports that. Look where both functions are below the x-axis, check the interval, write the answers. I'm done. But now, because it's greater than or equal to 0, I'm going to have to check this and that, and also make sure that for my endpoints for some of the intervals, I don't miss out on including certain values, because including those certain values will substantiate or support this particular outcome, which is equal to 0 as well. Okay, we're going to look at it just now. I think whilst I'm still here, I do want to talk about f of x times g of x less than 0. If you ever get that one, less than 0, then guys, I'm sure you understand now. What are we looking at here? The y values. Which y values? The y values of g of x, the y values of f of x. What are we looking at? The product. The outcome is what? Negative. So if the outcome is negative, that means the y value of f of x can be positive, whilst the y value of g of x is negative. And less than 0 will definitely be a result, meaning something that is negative. Okay, less than 0 in this situation means something that is negative. So guys, for the product, for something that is, when f of x times g of x, that is a product we are dealing with, less than 0 means negative sign. Please guys, please, negative sign. That's what it means. Okay, so you check the product. A positive times a negative is what will give you a negative. So the y value of f must be positive, whilst the y value of g is negative. That kind of interval will give you the outcome. Or y value of f must be negative, whilst the y value of g is positive. That kind of combination for product will give us a negative as well. So that is my first, my second. Okay, if there was no equal to 0, but if there's an equal to 0, there is that aspect of where you have to check 0 times 0, 0 times plus, 0 times minus, minus times 0, plus times 0. That combination will give me equal to 0. Okay, and guys, please, there is nothing to this. So let's go now and answer this question so that we can see where our answers are available to check. Okay, so what are we checking here? Let's just remind ourselves. For the parabola, we are going to be looking for where we have a positive, meaning both functions are above the x-axis, or where both functions are below the x-axis, and we are going to look for these combinations where f maybe is 0 but g is positive, or where f is 0 but g is negative, or where f is 0 but g is 0, or where f is positive, g is 0, where f is negative, g is 0. That also will help us with equal to 0. So we can check that out. So let's come here. Guys, we can also do this if we want. You do realize that if we look at just the parabola, let's look at just the parabola alone. The y value here, positive, 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 positive. Then here on the x-axis, obviously 0. Y is equal to 0. Then we have negative, 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 then positive, 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 positive. That's another way you could do this. Then here, positive, 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 because we are above the x-axis. We above. Okay, then. Okay. So let's move from left to right. Let's check. From negative infinity to negative 3, what's happening? Both functions are positive. So far, we've got answers. Both are above the x-axis. From negative infinity to negative 3. We extend it further to what? To negative 2. All right? We, in between, from negative infinity to negative 2, both functions are positive. Okay? But guys, from negative 2, okay, sorry. At negative 2 exactly, this f is 0, whilst g is positive. So that is that combination that we are talking about of what? That combination of 0 and a positive. Remember guys, remember, this is f being 0. Ooh, look at this, where f is 0 and a y of g of x is positive. That gives us 0. So we have answers. We have to include the 2. We have to include the negative 2. Why are we including it? Because we are also interested in the outcome of equal to 0. We're not looking at just greater than 0, which means positive, but we're looking at equal to 0, where the product gives us 0. Y of f of x is 0 whilst the y of g of x is positive. That gives us 0. We need that. We need that. So from negative infinity to negative 2, where negative 2 is included, we have an answer. Okay? All right? So 2 ways of writing that answer. Okay? We can either say x is less than or equal to negative 2. We include negative 2. Or we can say negative infinity to negative 2. We say open, closed. All right? All right? This is basically the answer in this interval so far. We are not done, but I'm just showing you the answer from negative infinity, because coming from this side, these are always positive, both of them. From negative infinity all the way to negative 2, at negative 2 exactly, we also have an answer for equal to 0. Okay, the product here, we have f is 0 for y, and then here y is positive for g. So a 0 times a positive gives us 0, which is equal to 0, which is what we want. Let's check now. What about in this interval, in this area, negative 2 to 0? Do we have anything? This is positive, that is negative, we have nothing. What about at 0? This one is positive, this one is negative, we have nothing. From 0 to 2, what's happening here? From 0 to 2, this one is positive, that one is negative, the product is negative, we have nothing here. What about at 2 exactly? F of x, the y is 0. G of x, the y is 0. 0 times 0 is 0. We need that. Remember. 0 times 0. The y for f of x is 0. The y for g of x is 0. That's equal to 0. That's a combination that we need. So that means we have an answer at 4. What about as we continue further? What's happening as we continue further? Nothing. Because this one is positive, this one is negative, no answer here. So that means we can say this, or x is equal to 4. Okay. Or x is equal to 4. That will be our answer. So you can either write the answer like this, x greater than or x less than or equal to negative 2, or x is equal to 4, or you can write your answer like that. Negative infinity to negative 2, or x is equal to 4. You could say x is an element for your subject there. Negative infinity. Why not x is equal to 2? Because PK finger. I'm saying x is equal to 4. What am I saying? Sorry guys. Thank you so much for that. PK finger. Sakoma sonke ngebhatyaza nami ngiqomile nami. All right, sorry guys. It's just that it's just that as I'm looking through my screen, I am seeing 4. That's why. So that's nonsense. That is 2, guys. So x is equal to 2, not x is equal to 4. My bad. My mistake, my fault. Thank you so much for that. Who was that? PK finger. PK, you're amazing, brother. You are amazing. Okay, so my mistake. It wasn't Sakoma Songe, because let's check here. PK finger did a good job there, answering the question 100% correct. Okay. Lombard, you also did well. Okay, you answered the question 100% correct. All right. Okay. Yeah. No, you guys did phenomenal. Lombard and PK Finger. You could swear you guys are teachers or something. You answered that question 100% correct. Okay. Yeah. So guys, I hope we see this. Had the question said where f of x times g of x is less than 0, then we would be looking at where one, remember, where one is positive, the other one is negative. In other words, we check where one is above whilst the other is below. That is basically what we are checking with this one. Okay, positive, negative, negative, positive. That's what we are checking. Okay, so if we were being asked that question, our answer would not be available from negative infinity to negative 2, but the answer would be available from negative 2 all the way to 2, but negative 2 and 2 would not be included. Okay, and then our answer would be available from what? From 2, or let me say where x is greater than 2. Okay, so I think we could probably write this in a few ways. We could actually say x is greater than negative 2. We could say x is greater than negative 2, or x is greater than 2. Could probably say that. Or we could say x is greater than negative 2, but x cannot be 2. I think that would be sufficient. X is greater than negative 2, but x cannot be 2. That would be 100% fine to basically describe f of x times g of x less than 0. Okay. All right. I think, guys, we've overspent our time in that question. Let's just move on. Is my guy that said or asked about hyperbola and exponential still here? Calculate the length of AK. Calculate the what? The length of what? Of AK. Okay. So the length of AK is going to require our distance formula, because AK is a distance which is basically not, I mean, we could use our distance formula or we could use Pythagoras. It's really up to us. But I think it will probably be more suiting to use the distance formula. Okay? Yes, PK thing. Distance formula would be 100% correct. But what we need first is the coordinates of K. And in order to find the coordinates of K, because we need to start right there, we have our X value here. All right? And we know that this line is a vertical line. So to find K, all right, since K is in the same line, same vertical line, that means the X value here is also negative 2. But since K lies on the what? On the straight line. We are going to do this. Right. I think, guys, at least those other ones we've answered very well. And yeah. So here we know K is going to be negative 2 and y. So we are going to substitute x is equal to negative 2 into, or into who? Into g of x, which is negative x plus 2. Why are we doing that? It's because K lies on g of x. So if K lies on g of x, then it means we can substitute x is equal to negative 2, which is a coordinate of K. We can substitute it into the straight line because K lies on G. If a point lies on a function, guys, you can substitute any of its coordinates into that particular function. You will get the corresponding x or y value. So in this case, since the x coordinate of K is negative 2 and K lies on G, we can take the function of g of x, take the x value, substitute it into the function of g of x, and get the corresponding y value. So we can say g of negative 2 is equal to negative into negative 2 plus 2. Make sense? Then we get 2 plus 2, which is 4. Make sense? Therefore, what are the coordinates? What are the coordinates of K? We have negative 2 and 4. Now you need AK, the distance. Right? So you say AK is equal to distance formula, guys. We have x of K minus x of A, the whole thing squared, plus y of K minus y of A, the whole thing squared. What does this mean? Just simply means that the x coordinate just means the x coordinate of K minus the x coordinate of A, the whole thing squared, plus in brackets the y coordinate of K minus the y coordinate of a, the whole thing squared. We make sure that the distance formula, we write it correctly so that all things square out well, my beloved grade 10s. Very, very important. So the x coordinate of k, -2, minus the x coordinate of a, that's 2. Y coordinate of k, that is 4. Y coordinate of a is 0. Then we have -4 squared plus, we have 4 squared here. That means 16 plus 16, which is 32, which is, if we simplified said form it, we have 4√2. Okay, units. If we simplify said form it, but of course, if we don't want to simplify said form and omit and leave it rounded off to 2 decimal places, there's no instruction there. It just says calculate the length of AK. And the length of AK, we got it there, 4√2 units. But we can, to be on the safe side, just make sure that we say 4√2. We then decimalize it. We write in decimal form as well, just for finality, and round it off to 2 decimal places. So what do we get, guys, if we decimalize the answer? Just so that we have both those calculations and options available. Okay, we good. We good. We good and we goodest. We good and we goodest. 5,66, yeah. Thank you. 5,66 units. But I think they'll be fine with us leaving it in set form. It's just that, you know how they say, leave all answers round off to 2 decimal places. Yeah. Okay. Guys, that's that question. That takes care of that question very nicely. All right, let me just get an indication. Grade 10s, how many of you need some push and assistance when it comes to exponential and hyperbola functions? Because I want to do an exam type question. Here's an exam type question coming up of exponential, and then there's one on hyperbola. And I think I'll call it a night for the grade 10s after doing so, if there are people that are saying they need help with that. But yeah, I think that's all I can give to you today when it comes to functions, guys. Nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, because I just needed to, give you a know-how, you know, because this is important. Things to know, things to be known. Okay, exponential function. Anyone for an exponential? There we have it. G of x is equal to -2 to the power x plus 8. That's the function. Oh, Josh. Josh, you can come through tomorrow. Okay, we have an appointment with Destiny for algebraic functions. Algebraic equations with grade 8 algebra. Yeah, we said tomorrow at 5 p.m. I'll do grade 8, so you can just make sure you set your alarm. We'll be doing grade 8 tomorrow. Okay, Pagamile Kambula, you said exponential functions. Okay, all right, Pagamile Kambula, seems like you're the only one. Everybody else does not need what you need. Okay, let's go then. The graph of g of x is equal to -2 to the power x plus 8 is sketched below. A and B are the y and x intercept respectively. A and what? A and B. Where's A? There is A. Where's B? There is B. What is that? Pagamile Kambula, do you know what that is? What do we call this thing? It's dotted like this, it's horizontal. What do we call that thing? Kambula? Pagamile. Right now you need to pagama and tell me what is that thing. Okay, Pagamile means to stand up, right? To stand for something. Flavorful Scent, thank you so much. You are right. It's the asymptote. Sianda, Shabisa, it's the asymptote. PK Fingers, the asymptote. Pagamile, it is the asymptote. Which one? What kind of asymptote do we refer to it as? We refer to it as what kind of asymptote? Asimtindi. Asimtindi. There we go. Asimtindi. Watinta bafazi, watinti bogoto. Watinta bafazi, watinti bogoto. Asimtindi umfazi bafana. Asimtindi umfazi. Asimtindi umfazi bafana. Very good. Very good. Horizontal, guys. Yes. For your exponential function only has one asymptote. We call it the horizontal asymptote. Okay? There's not two. It's just one asymptote. Okay? Your exponential function is given in the form in grade 10. This is the form of your exponential. Y is equal to AB to the power x plus 2. AB, yes. AB, guys. AB to the power x plus 2. So for instance, for the one that we have there, this g of x, I can tell you now, g of x is equal to negative 2 to the power x. What is the value of a? Let's ask you guys. Tell me, can someone tell me what the value of a is, what the value of b is, and what the value of q is? Come on, let's go. What is the value of a? Very quickly. Value of a here, value of b, value of q. Just write them down, all three of them, in the comment section. Write them down in one sentence. Don't write them apart. I want the value of a, b, and q. Okay, so when you type, write a is equal to b is equal to q is equal to. What's the value of a? Remember, I said the form of the hyperbola is this. Okay, ab to the power x plus 2. Do you see? Now I just want you to tell me what the value of a is, what the value of b, what the value of q is. Mbendulo Prince Jobe, you are only giving me a. I want everything. Yeah. See, so you should type it in one sentence. What is the value of a? What is the value of b? What is the value of q? Here's the function. G of x is equal to negative 2 to the power x plus 8. Okay. YDM says a is equal to negative 1, b is equal to 2, q is equal to 8. Thank you, YDM. Unknown. Yellow Bone saying negative 1. Paramile saying a is equal to negative 1, b is equal to 2, to 2, q is 8. Very good. Mpendulo is saying b is equal to 2. Good. 2 is equal to 8, a is equal to negative 1. Very good, guys. You guys are 100% correct. Those who have said a is equal to negative 1. Because remember, there's a negative 1 multiplied. B is 2, right? And then q is 8. Okay? Remember, guys, that when we talk about horizontal asymptote, y is equal to 8. Okay? Is the equation of the horizontal asymptote. So the q value, we take that as it is, and we write the equation of the horizontal asymptote as y is equal to 8. The b, as I said, is the base of the variable. Okay? There's two things about b. B can either be greater than 1, or it can be between 0 and 1. All right? And then a can either be less than 0 or a can be greater than 0. Very important, these guys. So in other words, a can either be a negative value or it can be a positive value. B can never be negative. Okay? So very important, these things, what we've just indicated here. I just want to, by way of note, say the following. Whenever you see a being greater than 0, that means your function is or should be above the asymptote. Okay, you can't find the function being below the asymptote. Okay, so for instance, here, what is a? A is negative 1. All right. So when a is greater than 0, function should be above the asymptote. When a is less than 0, the function should be below the asymptote. That's what we basically know about our exponential function. Okay. Then, can I just share with you the two conditions for a greater than 0? If a is greater than 0 whilst at the same time b is greater than 1, this is the shape that you can expect. You expect an increasing exponential function like that. But if a is greater than 0 but b is between, remember I said b can be under two conditions. Either b is greater than 1 or b is between 0 and 1. So if a is greater than 0 but b is between 0 and 1, okay, the function is still above the asymptote, but it's just that the exponential is decreasing. So this is an increasing function for your exponential. This is a decreasing function for your exponential. Okay, then we have a less than 0. When a is less than 0, what are we always expecting? We're expecting the function to be found below the asymptote. Are we together? Then a less than 0 whilst b is greater than 1. We're expecting a function that is decreasing, not increasing, but one that is decreasing. Okay, so it's almost as if you can look at this: b greater than 1, b greater than 1, that is the same. But if you change the value of a, this seems to be a reflection along the asymptote of this function. These two are reflections of each other. So it's like this function is standing at the mirror and it's looking at itself on the other side of the mirror, which is the asymptote. All right. So these are mirror reflections of each other. B is greater than 1 for both, but because this a is positive and this a is negative, they reflect. Okay. Then here, a less than 0 whilst b is between 0 and 1. So once again, what do you expect here? This function is below the asymptote, but it is increasing. Okay. Okay, does that make sense, guys? All right. Yeah. Each learner would be allowed. Yeah, you see, I love these beautiful ideas, Nombali. Yeah, the thing is, these beautiful ideas, Nombali, are these ideas that you should be implementing in live lessons that you should be starting. Remember, you are a teacher yourself. These are the ideas that you should be implementing. Oh my dear, these are the ideas you need to be implementing. You see, that's why I love what you might call soccer. When when is it? When a spectator is watching a match, they have all these ideas, you know. Yeah. So when they have all these ideas, then I think you should take the ideas and implement them. Okay. Yeah, because you are seeing a gap and you can close that gap if you can have live lessons, nobody. And then you can share your expertise and help the learners close their gaps. So I'm encouraging you to do that, because you are seeing things that are what? That are gaps. Close the gaps, nobody. Start the live lessons. Start going live and start helping the learners, please. So that you are not just here and observing things that, you know. Yeah, I encourage you to do that. Okay, so guys, this is very important, okay? And I'm explaining this conceptual understanding so that when you see a function being drawn and you see the what we call the parameters, okay, we call this A or B and your Q, we call those things parameters. You should be able, when you look at the values of A, B, and U, to see, oh, okay, because A is like this, B is like this, oh, I see why. That function makes sense, right? Yeah, okay, that function makes sense. Okay, and remember the asymptote, whatever the value of q is, that is the equation. Okay, that is the equation of the asymptote. Whatever the value of q is, whatever the value of q is, whatever the value of q is. And guys, the asymptote is simply a untouchable line. Okay, untouchable, right, line. We call an asymptote a boundary line. Even you as a grade 10 learner, hopefully you have what we call boundaries. All right, if you say you do not drink and you don't go to certain places, you should stand for that, even when there's pressure to heed and buckle down and do as everybody does, because you have boundaries. If you basically say you don't touch here, you don't touch me here, you are a girl, you respect your body, you say you don't touch me there, then you need to stand for that and not allow yourself to be touched, no matter how you may feel, so that those boundaries can protect you and protect others. So it's very important. And even boys and guys should have boundaries. Very important to have boundaries, because if you don't, for instance, you see, if the exponential function does not have boundaries, it loses its sense of identity as a function. The function itself only has that horizontal asymptote, which is an untouchable boundary line, where it does not cross that line ever, for nothing, because it can't. Its identity is encased in making sure that it stays within its boundaries. When it does, then it retains its identity. When it doesn't, it loses its identity. So likewise, be wise, have boundaries. All right. So anyways, that's very important. I just thought I should pass by there. So if you look at this one, a is -1. So what are we expecting? To find the function below the asymptote, because a is less than 0. B is greater than 1. So if b is greater than 1, but a is less than 0, what is the shape? Here is the shape of the function. So does this make sense? Very much so. Do you see, guys? Function is found below the asymptote. It is decreasing. You see? Yeah, so that's what's beautiful when you know this. If you know this, guys, functions become beautiful, because it's so beautiful when you know the a, you know the b, you know what to expect, you know the q, you know what to expect. It is so nice. It is so nice. Okay. All right. Okay, let's come down here. 6.1. Let's answer this question. Write down the range of G. Write down the range of G. Write down the range of G. Okay. Range means the possible y values where the function exists, from the bottom to the top. So if we write down the range of G, where is the function existing? It is existing everywhere. Everywhere below this boundary line. Doesn't exist above this boundary line. Everywhere below the boundary line. That boundary line is given by the Q value, which is 8. So we know that that line is y is equal to 8. So we say that the range then is y less than 8. Or we could say, if we wanted to, y is an element negative infinity to 8, open bracket. That is another way. Negative infinity to 8, open brackets. We do not include the 8 because it is a boundary line, the untouchable line. You see? Right, next question. Determine the coordinates of B. We ask the same question. Where is B? B is on the x-axis. What is the thing about the x-axis? It's the x-intercept. What do we know about the x-intercept? We let y be equal to 0. When we let y be equal to 0, for the what? For G. What is the equation of G? g of x is equal to negative 2 to the power x plus 8. So we substitute in the place of g, 0 is equal to negative 2 to the power x plus 8. We transpose the 8. Okay, then what do? We divide both sides by the negative 1. We get 2 to the power x is equal to 8. That means 2 to the power x exponential. We change 8 to base 2 to the power 3. Bases are the same. We drop the base. We equate the exponents. Therefore, x is equal to 3. What did they want? Determine the coordinates. So we can't leave the x-intercept as it is. B is equal to, when y was 0, x is definitely equal to 3. All right. See, we divide by that negative 1. We get 2 to the power x. We change 8 to a prime base. Using the calculator, we can say 8 is equal to shift fact. It will give us 2 to the power 3. Or we know that 8 can be written as a base 2, but 2 raised to what? To the power 3. Okay, that's how we get x is equal to 3. Bases are the same on either side. Obviously, we use the property. If a to the power x is equal to a to the power y, then we know x is equal to y. Okay, so this property works for same bases where we have exponents, and that's why we get x is equal to 3. Coordinates, y was 0, that's what we substituted. We get an x value of 3. So those are the coordinates of B. Moving right along, G says 6.3. If G is reflected over the x-axis to form a new graph, which is h, determine the equation of h. Now we need to understand this thing. What does reflected over the x-axis actually mean? What do we mean by reflected over the x-axis? Okay, reflection over a particular axis means we change the sign of y, x stays same. We change, who changes? The sign of y, while x stays the same. That makes sense because the x-axis, all right, if something was here, it was a certain distance away from here. Then if it reflects, it becomes here, the same distance from where? From the x-axis, but a different sign. So if reflect up along this, the x-axis, who's changing? The sign of y, but x is staying the same. So that's why we say reflection over the x-axis means a change in the sign of y, but x stays the same. So we need to just understand that for what it says. Now they are saying if G is reflected over the x-axis to form a new graph, determine the equation of h. So let's just say change in the sign of y. So G of x is going to become negative G of x. Now that means, simply put, guys, negative G of x is going to be negative into negative. So let's just rewrite that. Negative G of x is going to be negative into negative 2 to the power x plus 8. Okay, then we distribute negative times a negative, that is going to be positive 2 to the power x. We distribute negative 8. So this is going to be h of x. Okay, because they are saying h of x is equal to the new function. The new function is h of x, but how do we find it? By reflecting in the x-axis who G of x. So that is going to be negative G of x, which means for the expression of the function, it's negative into negative 2 to the power x plus 8. Then we distribute the negative sign, and then we get 2 to the power x minus 8. That is the equation of the new function, h of x. Make sense? Make sense, guys? Yeah. So straightforward, just like that, guys. No problem, no issues, no problems. Explain why sorry, let's see. Yeah, guys, I don't know why it does these things. This thing. Explain why the x-intercepts of G and H are both at B. Why the x-intercepts of G and H are both at B. Okay, can I just see you guys explain 6.4? Why guys? Why are the x-intercepts of G and H both at B? The x-intercept of G and H. Okay. Hopefully you guys still can apply what we've just said. Why are the x-intercepts of G and H both at B? Why? They just want a reason. Okay. Kanye, should I tell you? Remember x-intercept? Okay, let's see. Flavorful sense. The x-intercept didn't change the sign. The x-intercept didn't change the sign when we reflected the function of g of x. Explain why the x-intercepts of G and H are both. The x-intercept didn't change the sign when you reflected the function of g of x. That's true. Okay, so the x value doesn't change, right? But what about the y value? Okay, the y value is supposed to change, but of course, what's happening there? Yeah, it was 0, right? Yeah, it was 0. Yeah, now 0 is neutral. Okay, so basically it remains that. Okay, so like you can change 0 to positive or negative. 0 is neutral. 0 is neither positive nor negative. Okay, yeah, so I hope that makes sense, guys. That's just the basic explanation. Okay, the last question I want us to look at is this one. And this is a good question to look at because it helps us to think. A hyperbola H is described with the following characteristics. The equation of the vertical asymptotes is x is equal to 0. So once again, hyperbola has, or let me say not once again, let me just say a hyperbola is another function which basically is having two asymptotes, not one but two. So we are told the characteristics of this hyperbola. One, the equation of the vertical asymptote is x is equal to 0. Now this is always the case in all hyperbola functions in grade 10. Always in grade 10. Okay, noted. Vertical asymptote in grade 10 is always x is equal to 0. Okay, then the range of h is from negative infinity to 3, then from 3 to infinity, and 3 is not included at both the end of one and the beginning of the other. That is the range. Okay, when they say the range is negative infinity to 3 or from 3 to positive infinity, guys, this is no different from saying y is an element of real numbers, but y cannot be 3. I repeat, y is an element of real numbers, or y cannot be 3. And furthermore, this helps me understand what my horizontal asymptote is. If y cannot be 3, it means the boundary line for my equation of the horizontal asymptote is y is equal to 3. Okay, yeah, because that is the place where the function does not touch. Y cannot be 3. Then the x-interceptors, they are saying of h, the coordinates at least are 2 and 0. And they are saying here, determine the equation of h. Now remember, guys, that a hyperbola function is given in this form in grade 11. But in grade 10, so this is grade 11. In grade 10, we don't have the p. Okay. Yeah. So in grade 11, in grade 10, this is the form of the function. Y is equal to a over x plus 2. Okay? Okay. Yeah, hope that makes sense. So now we can venture forth and answer the question to find the equation of the hyperbola. All right. So already we have the horizontal asymptote. So I'm going to say y is equal to a over x plus 3. 1 mark. Okay. Through the range, I was able to establish what the horizontal asymptote is, therefore the value of q. Okay. Yeah. So that sorts that out. Then we are told that the x-intercept is 2 and 0. So 2 and 0 are your x-intercept. So we are going to substitute 2 and 0. Okay. X is 2, y is 0. So I'm going to say 0 is equal to a over 2 plus 3. We transpose the 3, we get negative 3. That's a over 2. We cross multiply. Negative 3 times 2 is equal to a. We get negative 6 is equal to a. Therefore, a is equal to negative 6. Having found the value of a, then we can say h of x is equal to negative 6 over x plus 3. That's done. That is the hyperbola function. Okay, straightforward to the point. Grade amazing 10s. I've got to love and beautifully leave you for now. Ooh, what a long session, guys. Yeah, what a long, sweet session that we had. Okay, yeah. And where did it come from, this session? It came from this parabola and straight line to this exponential function question, then to this hyperbola. Very interesting question there that we did. So yeah, guys, we can call it an official night. Okay, we can call it an official night. So thank you so much. Thank you so very much. I think we had our fun. And till we meet again, thank you so much again for those who were so generous in gifting in the live today. I really appreciate your guys' love. Flavorful Sand, thank you so much. You've been great. You've been an amazing sport. Thank you for being so generous and kind on a Saturday evening on a very amazing day. Thank you so much. You've been amazing. Hope you have a great night, and till I see you again, good night and good cheers. Yeah, I think teacher. So teacher is definitely going to be doing some lives very soon. Teacher, who is the teacher? Teacher who again? Teacher Nombali. Yeah. Nombali. Uzobe gqoke izimbali. So looking forward to teacher Nombali doing the Mbali stuff. Mbali. All right. Cheers, guys.